he actually waved first. That's a first. At least since I got my 1199. And that's another thing I want to talk about. My 1199. Is that a bird? Oh, poor birdie. You know, some of you might be wondering, hey, Ink, why'd you buy an 1199? Well, that's a very long and interesting story. So back in April of last year, January, February, March, April, last year almost exactly, on the 11th of last year, I did something stupid and illegal, and no, I don't have footage of it, but I did something stupid and illegal, and I crashed my DRZ. Yeah, it was not fun, and I'm not going to do anything stupid like that ever again. You know, that mistake in some ways still haunts me to this day, because it was a big ass mistake. And anyway, last year crashed my DRZ. So, and at the time, and I only had liability on it, so you know, I fixed it up myself. It wasn't that expensive, mainly because the only thing I did to fix it was make sure that I could ride it with the handlebars straight. It was only like 40 bucks, and then it was $45 for the handlebar holders for the triple tree, and then it was like 20 bucks for the new mirrors. So then, you know, my registration ended on it, and I didn't want to have to reinsure it. I didn't want to have to pull out the insurance claim, so I started looking for another bike, because frankly I was tired of the DRZ. It was time to go. And so I started looking, and I was like, well, I didn't really have the problem with the DRZ with the power wise, so I was like, you know what, I don't really need that much more power. So what did I decide to do? I decided on a 600. What 600 did I decide on? A Honda, the CBR 600RR. I love that bike. I love the old version, I love the new version. It's a beautiful bike, and I love the undertail exhaust. And in a sense, this bike has an undertail exhaust. Well, it has an undertail header. But, you know, details. So I started looking for that, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. So I started looking at this used dealership called Major Power Sports, and they had a ton of them. Problem was, though, I couldn't get a red bike, so I couldn't have the red, white, and blue version, and I couldn't have the full red version, which for months they had nothing but the red, white, and blue, or just red versions. Then they get a white and black version and a black version. I'm like, God, I gotta go see these bikes. When I get down there, they had sold them. Okay, I was like, fuck. So then I went back home depressed, and I was just like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Because I don't want to buy brand new, because I don't want to deal with that break-in period. So I sat around and I waited, and then there it is, bam, again, they have more. And I was like, fucking awesome. And then I noticed something, because I'm looking up on their website, I noticed something. They have two Ducatis. One was a yellow 1098, and one was this one, my 1199. It was white, and I was like, fuck, yes. I was like, how cool would it be to own one of those things? And when I clicked on it, I had no idea what the price was. I had no idea what it looked like, and I was just like, I gotta look at this thing. Bam, pull it up, 10 grand for this, 10 grand for an 1199. I was like, wow, that's fucking amazing, because the Hondas that they had were like 9.5. So I was like, well, it's only $500 more. And if I look at a brand new Honda CBR 600RR, it's 11 grand MSRP, not including taxes. So this 1199 was actually cheaper than a brand new Honda. And I was like, wow, that's fucking awesome, and it's white. So I go down, so, you know, I start scrapping things together, and I'm like, well, in the end, I was going to spend around that much money on a Honda. So might as well just go all out. So, went down there, and I bought this beautiful baby. And God, I never look back. I'm so happy that I got this. It has all the power I need, it's gorgeous, and it's amazing. And at the end of the day, after I paid for the the major service, and after the taxes and after everything, 15 grand for this beauty. Brand new tires, brand new chain, brand new sprocket. So it's basically brand new. So I got an $11.99 for the same price as if I bought a brand new CBR 600RR, and it only weighs 4 pounds more, and it has 100. That's right, 100 more horsepower, and I think like 40 or 50 pounds more torque. So yeah, I wound up with this baby, and the reason that I wanted a CBR was not only for the looks, and not only because it had low power, you know, like my DRZ, and everybody was saying don't go to 1,000, don't do this, don't do that. Thank God I didn't listen to them. But the reason I was looking around at the Hondas was because they were the lightest bike on the market, and they are still the lightest bike on the market as far as I am aware, because they've come out, because Suzuki came out with a new bike, their new leader bike, and I don't know how much that weighs. But as far as bugs. But as far as I'm aware, the Hondas were the lightest bikes that I could afford, and of course, you know, not including this beauty, but brand new, you know. Because I was legitimately looking for a 600. I was like, I don't. Everybody's like, you're never going to use the power of 1,000, and I'm like, well, maybe that's true. And at the time, I had the same mindset as everybody else. You're not going to use the power, but what they're really saying is you're not going to go full speed on it. You know, you're not going to hit its top speed. You're not going to hit the top speed on a 600 either. You know, at least not without, you know, breaking the law majorly. Like, I could hit the top speed on my DRZ, and I wouldn't even be breaking the law, because its top speed was fucking 90, and everybody on the highway goes 80 to 85, at least in the lanes that I'm in. So, you know, it's not like a cop would single me out as like the main person breaking the law or speeding. So yeah, I got my $11.99 for the main reason that it was actually cheaper than the bikes I was looking at. And to be honest, if this thing gets backed over or someone hits me, I'm not gonna get another one. It's full. This thing is fully insured. It's fully insured for 20 grand. Okay, I would be able to get another one, but I'm not going to. If anything happens to this bike, I'm not getting another Ducati. I'll get a Yamaha. And the main reason that I wouldn't get a different Japanese leader bike, like the new Honda or Suzuki or I think that what are there any other Japanese bikes? I can't remember. Honda or Kawasaki, is because their inline fours scream like way loud, and it's annoying. The pitch of the engine is annoying. And the reason I get a Yamaha is because it's got a cross-plane crank. It has a scream like my Ducati. You know, when it gets way up there, it doesn't like. See, listen. See, it kind of sounds like that. You know, it's deeper. It's more like a roar instead of a scream. So that's why that's what I'd get. I'd probably either get, and I'd probably get one of the oval. I'd probably get a used Yamaha, you know. And the one thing that I'm not whore, I got hit by something again. The one thing that I don't like about Jap bikes, excuse me, is I'd have to get an exhaust, because the exhaust on the Jap bikes are just ugly. They're ugly. They're ugly. They're ugly. They're ugly. Okay. And look, you can almost see my tail flapping in the wind, but they're just, the exhausts on the Jap bikes are ugly. I would never get an exhaust for this bike, simply because it's expensive as fuck. Just a slip-on exhaust is like $2,500 for this bike. It's fucking ridiculous. But I'd never get it because the exhaust already looks good. It already sounds good. It's already loud. I don't need anything. And if you look at my shadow, you can still see I have the original tail tidy and my tail. I still have the original fender because I like bike stock. I don't like doing a bunch of modifications to them because it's just, I don't know. I just don't like it. But if I did have to get an exhaust, like if I did have to get a jet bike, I would get an exhaust. You know, I'm never gonna have a pillion on the back of my bike. Wow, turn signal on way too early. Oh, it's 45 here. But I'm never gonna have a pillion on the back of my bike, so you know I wouldn't need to worry about heat shields or any of that for like the old Yamaha. And it's not that I'm not a fan of the new Yamaha. I just don't want to spend a super butt ton of money on a bike that pretty much only thing that's updated are the electronics, and I don't even use that much of the electronics on this bike right now. So and the other thing that I don't like is everybody's like, oh, super sports have really bad turning radius. Yeah, if you don't know how to fucking turn on them. But yeah, I'd have to get an exhaust simply because I don't like the looks of Jap bikes exhaust. I'm sorry, they're ugly, they're big, and they make the bike sound like pea shooters. Or a fucking sprinkler or a lawnmower or whatever. And KTM does the same thing with their stock exhaust. So, you know, it's mainly Ducati that I like the look of the stock exhaust. Except, nope, that was a lie. Because I like the stock exhaust look on the Honda 600s. And the reason I wouldn't get an aftermarket exhaust on a 600 is because all the aftermarket exhausts that they provide are way smaller than the original stock exhaust. So all the fairings and stuff just look out of place. And then you gotta get a fender eliminator kit, which puts the plate behind the wheel, which is highly illegal. You know, I want to stay as legal as possible on my motorcycles, because if and when I do get pulled over, I don't need them pointing out every single illegal thing I have on my bike. You know, like right now, if I got pulled over, there'd be nothing illegal on my bike. My bike would be perfectly legal because it's stock. Granted, we don't have a noise limit here, so it doesn't matter if I put a race exhaust on this bike and it's loud as shit. But yeah, that's the reason I got the 1199, mainly because, well, it was cheap. It was cheaper than what I was looking at. Or in this case, it was only like $500 more for like fucking double the bike. That guy was squidding. But yeah, that's why I got the 1199, and that's why I'm gonna keep it. And that's why I'm gonna hope nothing happens to it, because I don't want anything happening to this bike. It's exactly what I need. It's exactly what I want. You know, if I had to get another bike, because I got a bike not just because, you know, oh, it's a bike, you know, it's a motorcycle, oh, look cool. I got the bike for therapeutic reasons. I don't ride to feel free, because I'm already as free as I'm gonna get, and freedom's overrated. So, you know, I don't ride to just, I ride to get away from things, to get away from my pain. So, you know, I'm always gonna have a bike, no matter what, no matter how hard I go down, no matter what happens to me, I'm always gonna have a bike. So if something happens to this, I don't want to have to, I don't want to sit through the pain of the exotics anymore. Like, this is a one-time deal, you know. Like for the valve adjustment on a Yamaha R1, I'd be able to do it. You know, I'd be able to put a new exhaust on a Yamaha. I'd be able to do all I needed on a Yamaha or a Honda, just simply because I know how to do it. I wouldn't have to worry or take it to a dealer anymore. I'd be able to change the oil. You know, I can already change the brake pads, but And before you say anything, Ink, you can't change the oil on your bike. I can, but it has an oil trip, and it counts how many miles you put on it for the oil change, and I have to take it to a dealer to change that, to get that reset anyway. So if I'm already going to pay someone to take off the fairings to get into the ECU and all that, I might as well just have them change the fucking oil as well, right? Like, it's already going there. So I might as well have what I need to do done. This little section is actually pretty good, and if I was going at any amount of speed, I'd probably be able to go knee down, but I don't really want to go knee down. Fucking got away from a scooter, yeah! And yes, I waved back. Because scooter riders are people too. And I mean that legitly.